on top of it.
Multitasking.
All right, well, it's 1 o'clock. I wanna get going here. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's event, which is how to scale your business faster with Aircall and CRM. This is a topic I'm passionate about, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this today. I'm Allie Lippman, our Senior Customer Success Manager at BrainSell, and I will be your host. Also on the line, we have Jana Sporsoni, who's the General Manager at Aircall, Clint Oram, who is the Co-Founder and Chief Strategy Officer at SugarCRM, and my colleague, Sonia Friedel at BrainSell. Glad to have you all here. Okay, so we're covering a lot in a short amount of time, so let's jump right in. We have a couple poll questions first. First of all, this is a lunch and learn, which means lunch is on us. So we're gonna launch this poll and you can tell us which meal delivery service you would like your lunch gift card to come from. You can choose either Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, or you can donate your lunch to No Kid Hungry.
That's a great one, Allie. I love that idea.
I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it looks like Uber Eats is in the lead right now. I love being able to see the poll results coming in. We have a couple people donating. Thank you guys. That's great. All right, 70% have voted. We'll give it a couple more seconds and then we're going to move on. We've got some Grubhub, some DoorDash. We're at 80%. 10 more seconds. All right.
I vote for the No Kid Hungry.
Well, that's actually our winner, so thank you all. All right, so now we have another poll question. This one's a little bit more on topic. We'd like to know what phone system your company is currently using. You can choose between a hardware-based phone system, a cloud-based phone platform. You might already be using Aircall, or you might be using your cell phone a lot because of remote work, like me, or you could have no clue, but at least it rings.
That's hilarious. I'll be curious to hear these results.
Yeah, a lot of folks have voted. We have the traditional hardware-based phone system is in the lead right now.
Really? Wow,
Yeah, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised about it.
Yeah. I live in Silicon Valley, so I'm in a bubble here, technology bubble.
Yeah, definitely. When I'm talking to folks, a lot are still using traditional hardware-based PBX systems.
Well, you're going to learn about all kinds of great reasons to move forward.
Yes.
Clint, I couldn't agree more. It sounds like they're at the perfect webinar.
Absolutely. All right. So the leader in the poll was 36% at using traditional hardware-based phone systems. We have 9% using Aircall. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
27% are using a cloud-based phone platform and 27% using cell phones. Very interesting. All right, so we're going to jump into our panelist discussion. I like to always begin with this icebreaker, which is usually gets us a lot of cool conversation. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received? And I'll throw the torch over to you, Gianna, to kick it off.
Thank you. I actually found this question really hard. You know, I feel very fortunate that I've gotten a lot of great advice. But the one that came blaring to me that I thought was relevant, because we're here to talk about sales, and this one always makes me chuckle. When I first entered my first real B2B sales job, I was an SDR. This is a couple decades ago, and I wanted to be the best and I wanted, strong results really fast. And I was hitting all of the metrics and hitting my targets in terms of metrics, activity metrics, and results just weren't coming. And I asked my boss, like, what am I doing wrong? And he just looked at me and he was like, why are you stopping there? And it was this realization that it wasn't just about hitting the metrics. That's not the stone cold rule, but it's about the meaning that you put behind all of the activity. And if you're still not getting what you need out of hitting those metrics, do more. And so it's really about the combination of working smart and hard.
I love that. Thank you. How about you, Clint?
Well, the somewhat flippant response that comes to my mind is don't eat yellow snow. But,
That's
moving
good
on
for
from
this
that
week,
one.
actually.
Yeah.
Brush the top layer off, Clint. Brush
For
the
our
top
Texan
layer off.
Let's
friends
get back
who
to
might
the
not
business
know.
discussion. Okay, dad advice aside, let's go with business advice. And I too, Gianna, look back to the beginning of my career where I started on the technology side, implementing technology, and I was my introduction to the world of CRM was in a professional services organization for a small CRM startup back in 1999. And one of the pieces of advice that that my boss threw out quite frequently with customers and prospects still resonates with me, and that's start small, think big, move quickly, right? And you just kind of decompose that idea of starting small. I know one of my challenges as a business leader is I always have grand visions, grand ideas. I see the future, I see where I'd like to be, and my mind goes immediately there. And the rest of the organization is just kind of looking at me saying, I have no idea how to get there. That sounds nice, Clint, but what's the next step? So being able to decompose it into small bite-sized chunks, starting small, but having that large vision, right? And knowing where you're going towards. And then I think the part that we're going to talk a lot more about today is velocity, moving quickly. The world of telephony and CRM has changed so much, and you can move quickly. And your definition of quick is probably going to be almost outdated based upon on all the things that are happening today. So start small, think big, move quickly.
Yes, I love that.
I love that. I love the compartmentalization as well. You think really big, but it's taking these small bite-sized chunks to get there. So it's far more manageable. Yeah.
And of course, your challenge as a business leader is how to put the right breadcrumbs in front of your people and in front of your customers so that they don't get overwhelmed with the big idea, but they feel like, okay, I can accomplish that. I can accomplish that. Yeah.
So here's one that fits into both of those.
Okay.
And this was advice from our COO, Teresa. You've got to be good at juggling. Yeah. Some of the balls that you juggle are going to be glass, and some of them are going to be rubber. And it's your job to figure out which ones are glass and which ones are rubber. The glass ones, if they fall, they will break. The rubber ones will hit the ground and come up. So how important is something? Is it, and because we can all feel so overwhelmed with everything that we've got to do from our home offices. And not everything is a glass ball. So I think just kind of removing yourself from that stress and saying, okay, this is a rubber ball. I can let this sit for another day, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. And I'm going to give myself some love, so that I know that there are a couple glass balls that I need to get done, and that's good for me. And I'm going to keep those bouncing. And there are other people that can help you catch them.
As a business leader, being able to tell your team which is the glass ball and which is the rubber, and only having a few glass balls. That's the hard part, isn't it, Sonia? Because it's
knowing
so
what's
easy
a glass
to fall
ball.
into the trap that they're all glass balls. You can't mess up the new, and then your team around you is just, as I said, overwhelmed.
And it's also about your reaction to it, right? Because they're going to model their behavior off of your reactions to these different balls as you're juggling them. And if you start to overreact on a rubber ball, they're going to catch on to that behavior as well.
Right. And
I feel like that's also a great analogy for relationships.
Completely, right? Yeah. So thank you, Teresa, on that one.
I know. Yeah, such great advice. I think that's a really good segue into our topic today, since we're talking about how to win back some efficiencies for our sales team. So I have to ask, with the advent of all these new digital channels for prospecting and handling support issues, I often hear phone's dead. What role do you think the phone plays in sales and customer experiences, in this day and age?
I love that you went for the jugular. This is awesome to get started right away with, what we do hear a lot. And, I'd argue that the traditional phone is dead. I think about my childhood, and at some point the rotary phone went out of vogue. And somewhere in my teens or in my, pre-teens, three-way call waiting was like the must-have, right? And so we're just at a crossroads of the phone evolution. Right? But how we think about traditional phone, that's probably dead. But we need to think of it differently now. And, when we think about consumer behavior or what our customers want, they expect you to know who they are by the time you pick up that phone. And traditional hardware desk phones don't allow you to do that. They don't allow you to help close that sale or retain the customers. And so something like Aircall with an integration, it allows you to get caller insight calls. It allows you to know who's calling right before you pick up the phone and everything that's been happening within their history and interactions with you. And so you have all of that information at your fingertips.
Right.
So,
yeah. What do you think, Clint?
At a real high level, you've got people with problems, needs. Those are your customers, your prospects, and you've got people with answers. Those are your employees. And connecting them together to solve those problems, that's what business is all about, right? And I always like to kind of really boil it down to business is about connecting two people together, a person with a problem with a person with a solution. Now you can put all kinds of technology in the middle of it, right? It could be an e-commerce site, it can be a website, it can be an email, it can be a phone call, but in the end, it's about two people exchanging ideas. And I can't tell you the number of times where I coach my team around me, just pick up the phone, just talk to them, give them a call, right? You know, things might be escalating in an email thread, or they're not replying back to you, or you know, somebody seems confused by their click stream on your website. Give them a call, just have a chat with them, and I think that's probably one of the most important things to remember in today's world of technology intermediated business, right? I know I just made up that term on the fly. That is about people, and the phone call is you just can't replace it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, you know, to say that the phone is dead is probably leading yourself and your team down the wrong path and getting disconnected from your customers. So.
Clint, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think you make such a valuable point. And first of all, because of technology, a lot of people are scared to pick up that phone. What does that human interaction look like? And when I think about today's global marketplace, there's so much competition, right? There's so much noise out there. And how do you break through that? You know, at the same time, every organization, including ours, a core value is customer obsession. Like, what does that mean? Right? How do you truly cater to your customers? I can't think of a better way than giving them access to a live person, right? Having that human to human interaction. And that's a huge differentiator. And as you mentioned, you know, a lot of time is wasted via email, going back and forth and waiting for the reply. It can be so much simpler if you just pick up the phone and talk to them. You can create solutions a lot faster as well.
And isn't it the case that in your entire career in sales, right, the best salespeople, period, bar none, are the ones who have no fear talking to a prospect?
That's right.
They don't hide behind email. They don't hide behind technology. They're happy. In fact, they enjoy the conversation because they enjoy solving those problems for the customer. And if you have a team of people that just want to talk to customers and prospects and are excited about picking up the phone and having that real live conversation, that's a key ingredient to success, no doubt about it.
And if we can't be in person right now, guys, then the phone is the next best thing, right? Or, you know, or all of your Zoom meetings and everything, but you hear so much more. Oh, well, tell me about that. You mentioned, right? So it's all just about being curious, Clint, like you said, and that's where you pick up all of those great nuggets to really help people.
Sonia, that's also a great point. It's also the nuances that you miss. We've always said it from day one that email, you know, tone gets lost in translation. It's hard to ask more in-depth questions and get the full story or the full picture. And again, voice to voice allows you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gianna, at Aircall, you describe your solution as a cloud-based phone system. What does that mean? What's a cloud-based phone system, and why is it better than a traditional desk phone? Is it better?
I think it's better. I think our business is growing, so that must mean that it's better. So what a cloud-based phone solution means is that you could access it from anywhere that you have internet connection with a laptop or a cell phone. And so again, you can access it anywhere while you're on the go, working from home, working in the office. It is a full phone system, but there's no separate hardware like a physical desk phone, right? Or that traditional clunky phone that we have on our desks. Why it's better? Well, I think for a couple of reasons. One is the hardware itself, right? When you buy a phone, it's only as good as it is from day one. If you want a better phone system, you're going to have to upgrade the model. That's very expensive. It's also very costly on IT. And as we really think about this new working model, it's hard to get people set up from home or in the office going back and forth. So it's far more cost effective, again, because you don't have to rely on your IT team to get people set up. You could scale up a lot more easily. And it's, again, obviously a game changer in the remote work setting. Another huge differentiator from a traditional phone is the integrations, right? We have over 100 other business tools that we plug in with, like SugarCRM. And so this becomes no longer a phone, but it becomes really the power of your tech stack. And it enables greater efficiency and productivity because of the pushing and pulling of information right across platforms like I talked about before, of really empowering your sales reps to have all of the information available when they need it, right, in those critical moments. Lastly, and I really want to drive this home because I think it's so prevalent right now, the hybrid work model is here to stay. Right. I think that the way that we face the traditional work in the office is evolving, and employees now expect to be able to work in the office sometimes and work at home sometimes. And having a cloud-based phone system will allow you to do that seamlessly.
So when is a company?
That really resonated with me, if you don't mind me jumping in, Ellen.
That's okay.
What really resonated with me, Gianna, was that continuous access to innovation, right? So the point of a traditional on-premise based phone system is only as good as the day you bought it. Boy, that really resonated with me because, you know, we live in a world today, as we all well know, of continuous hyper innovation happening around us. Yeah. And to think that I'd be stuck with a tool that's 5 years old and my competition has the latest and greatest, that would just drive me crazy, right? And yeah. So the whole idea of software as a service powering your phone system and getting that continuous access to new capabilities and always having the latest cutting edge tools at my fingertips, to me, that's just a no-brainer, right?
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. I think that's great to highlight, you know, and it is about the feature advancements. And we're also used to the idea of getting newer and better and all of the advancements in real time, right? We're not used to having to trade in models. I mean, maybe the iPhone, but that is frustrating, right? And we do get software updates. You know, and so, you know, with the soft phone, as Clint mentioned, it's not just about having that voice to voice. It's not just a phone, but it's about all of the other insights it provides, like, you know, dashboards where you can look at our Analytics Plus, which gives you like amazing reporting to really help drive insights of behavioral changes or process changes. And it's going to enable you to really coach your team and the individual. And again, a traditional phone can't do that.
So when would you say a company is ready for a tool like Aircall?
So our clients are, oh, sorry, Clint, what was that? You answer that for me.
Doors.
Great answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
I agree. And in fact, that does happen many a time. So, you know, our clients are anywhere from, you know, 5 to 300 users. And we really see great success with scaling up as your business scales as well. And so our traditional customer, as Clint was mentioning, was one that was really familiar with the SaaS world. They were already using SaaS products. They had, you know, robust tech stacks. And so this was a logical choice to have a phone system as well. What's interesting is in 2020, we've had an influx of new customers that are adopting Aircall because of this newly remote workforce, right? And they needed to quickly and effectively and in a non-cost prohibitive way get them up and running. But you know, this is really where a great partner like you guys, BrainSell, comes into play, because you know, you're industry experts and you know, you're really fantastic at helping businesses navigate that transition. And so, we've seen that it can be a little nerve-wracking, or it can be a little bit scary to migrate from traditional desk phones that require hardware to a cloud environment. But BrainSell, you've really helped us out and our clients out here as well to ease in that transition.
Yeah,
thanks
thank
that
you.
we've done it.
Yeah.
I know we're having discussions at our own business about, do we need desktop phones at all moving forward, right? Even when we're back in the office together, we've just trained our entire workforce to work with voice over IP on the computer or the cell phone, whatever the case may be. We've completely disconnected from the desk phone, and we're having the discussion. What's the purpose, right? It's a line item on the P&L that just really isn't relevant anymore.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about what it takes to onboard a new employee and getting them set up with the right hardware. I mean, looking at you, Sonia, because we've dealt with this. We don't order the right phone or whatever, and that the hardware piece of it is really tricky. So, or we go offline, or the phones go offline, something like that. It takes forever to reboot them. So I love the idea that if you're connected to the internet, you can also be connected to your cell phone. That's so interesting. Jana, I wanted to go back to what you were talking about with integrations and kind of drill in a little bit more there. So you mentioned Aircall integrates with a lot of sales and help desk tools on the market, and we just built the integration out for SugarCRM. Can you tell us what the integration is about? Why is this so important?
Yeah, so the integration, look, cloud-based integrations mean less duplicate entries, and that's going to equate to a more productive sales rep, right? So, the big win here is that sales reps are going to be able to do more calls because all of that busy work is gone. It means that when someone, calls you back and your rep picks up the phone, they're going to be able to see, because of the integration with SugarCRM, exactly who's calling, right? And they know the history within that. It's the power of information. It's the power of the historical interactions. And that means much better customer experience, both from a new sales acquisition, also to customer retention. And so, again, more analytics, and you're able to drive better insights because of the integration as well. And I have to say, have you ever heard of a sales rep say, like, I want more admin work, right? Or, I love data entry. Like, the reality is no, they don't want to do this. And so it's allowing them to do what they do best, Clint, as you mentioned, which is these, human to human interactions. And that's why I think it's, really powerful, and it's really become a must have in today's day and age to have the CRM and phone systems integrate.
You just made me think of an advertising line. I love entering data into my CRM, said no salesperson ever.
Bingo.
So, and Clint, you're from the CRM world. I'm sure you've had your eye on these kind of computer telephony integrations for a long time. Why is this a game changer?
Yeah, I always like to kind of pop it up out of the technology a little bit and first talk about, what does it mean to your business? Why do you care? And I'll start at a high level. Our vision from the day that I started Sugar and we started building out the product and everything was to build a tool that helped sellers sell, helped customer service agents create an extraordinary customer experience. And through that whole process, we've built out this concept of what we call no-touch information management, which is a bit of a mouthful, but the idea there is, I want to be giving the user of our software more value than what I'm extracting out from management. Historical legacy CRM systems have really been designed to help managers manage and not help the employees actually build a relationship with the customer. So what does that mean when it comes to CRM technology? At the point of talking with a customer, at the point of an interaction with a customer, whether it's an email or whether it's over the phone or whatever the case may be, you got to have the right information to create a valuable discussion, right? That's really that. Remember, I talked earlier about connecting two people together. That's business. Well, let's dissect the connecting two people together. You got to have a valuable discussion, even if it's as simple as, I need to change my credit card number, or what's the status of my order, or I've got an issue with the product or service, or tell me more about buying your additional add-on product. All those conversations come down to the person that works for you giving valuable information to your customers, right? And that's what the CRM system is supposed to do. CRM system is supposed to give you that valuable information so that you can have a valuable discussion with your customer and keep them engaged and keep them happy and excited. But it's at the point of the interaction, right? It's when I'm on the phone. You know, it's not helpful if I have to go do 10 minutes of lookup and say, can you hold on a minute? I'm looking that up. Can you hold on a minute? I'm still looking it up. Are you still there? And 5 minutes, 10 minutes has gone by and everybody's gotten bored in the conversation. So it's about having the right information at the right time, surfacing it up to you as you're having the conversation with the customer, and taking away all that busy work of having to type in phone numbers and type in call notes and you know, what was the sentiment of the call? Was the customer happy? Was the customer sad? You know, pulling all that away and allowing you to focus on delivering valuable information to the customer, and let the system, let the platform in the background do the work of extracting out information that helps management guide the business. That's our vision. And so working tightly with every interaction point, whether it's SMS or voice or email, that's core to our vision of delivering a system that really just helps you get your job done.
Yeah, I love that. That's really inspirational when I think about CRM. That's what I want. Okay, so just taking it a step back, what trends should companies be monitoring, I guess, when it comes to customer experiences and growth over the next 12 months and beyond?
I'll throw out the first. Is that for me or for all of us?
It's for all of us, but
okay.
You go ahead.
I'll kick off. I'd love to hear your perspectives on this. Listen, artificial intelligence is real. It's here, right? It's helping guide people through their day in a way that was just science fiction 5-10 years ago. You know, everything from helping you understand what's the likelihood of this prospect that I'm in the process of qualifying, of them actually qualifying, right? You know, compare all the metrics in the background of the person you're talking to all of my customers. Is there a good match here, right? Let the system tell me that. Let the platform do the work, right? So take it a step further and think about, so that's in the world of AI, that's called predictive analytics, right? And then it's another discipline within artificial intelligence is called natural language processing. So let's listen to the phone call. Let's turn speech to text. Let's analyze the text. Let's find out, was the sentiment of this phone call happy, annoyed, neutral? What was the real sentiment, as opposed to, you know, the customer service agent saying happy phone call, absolutely, and the customer in the background is saying, you idiot, why didn't you, right? So putting all that into the system and letting artificial intelligence guide your people through the day is, like I said, it's transcended from being science fiction to practical reality. It's happening right now, and if you're not leveraging technology like that to accelerate business for you, frankly, your competition is.
Clint, I love how you talk about how AI is really, you know, powering that skill-based improvement, and also at a much higher level, really up-leveling your ability to drive more sales based on analytics that we're not able to compute ourselves. You know, that's a game changer. And on that same realm, but really kind of taking it down a little bit of what that means for your average sales rep, right? Like your sales team. Sales reps don't want to work in old antiquated systems. They understand that this technology exists, right? They've grown up with this. And so they want the power of AI to help inform them and how to improve and how to do a better job. So, you know, it's, if they're working in these antiquated systems, you better believe like they're going to look elsewhere for jobs, because they want something easier, they want to improve, and they want it to be more enjoyable. Top sales reps, customer success reps, they're hard to keep and they're high demand. They know their value. So really, in order to stay competitive, you know, you need to have best-in-class tech stacks. They're looking for it.
And that's a top reason why employees leave the company that they work for is the technology is an inhibitor as opposed to an accelerator. So these are key things to invest in. And again, I built my company around the idea of as a service almost 20 years ago now. 17 years that SugarCRM has been delivering solutions like this to companies like yours. But the whole idea of continuous access to this innovation as part of the subscription, I can't imagine why you'd want to do anything else.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much. Really great points. I'm dying to see the integration between SugarCRM and Aircall. So with that being said, I'm going to actually pass it over to Sonia now, and she'll show us how we can integrate CRM with a system like Aircall to increase productivity, which can then result in more prospects and more conversations with our customers. So Sonia, let me pass it over to you, and I'm so excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Allie. Thanks, everyone. Want to make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. And there we go. All right. So confirming that you guys can see my Sugar screen right now. All right. Excellent. And we've got a nice dial pad here, which is Aircall. So I'm going to take you through this pretty quickly. We're going to dip into actual Aircall and the dashboards and analytics, but we're also going to look at the advanced integration with Sugar today. So I want to start here on my dialer right here on my screen. So this is it. We just had a new employee start today, and I literally just had to send him the link to download Aircall and said, here's your number, it's already plugged in. All you have to do is log in, and there you go. So there was nothing to send him, and it was just an incredible process. So right here on my desktop, and I can use my nice little number pad here on the side, or I can use just my cursor here to click. I hardly ever do that though, because with an integration and the Chrome extension here, I'm using Edge with Aircall, all the phone numbers on your screen are made into actionable links. So this isn't just in Sugar. If I'm on Google and I want to call my local pizza place, the phone number on the Google search will appear green, and I can just click it and it fills in the number here, and I just press that green button. So I hardly ever type in an actual number, if ever.
The pizza was a great use case.
Thanks. Well, it's funny because I definitely have been using this for personal use because it's just so darn easy, and I've always got this comfortable headset on. So I'm like, why not? So my iPhone really is just becoming like a computer even more and more. It's great. So right here, I can even toggle between numbers if I have a couple set up, which is pretty cool, even with local presence. So I don't know, if we had like an Australian division, I could set up an Australian number and call with my Australian number. So really easy here just to switch numbers and toggle. Then I've got my history. So I can type in a person's name or a phone number, very easy. And I can go right in here and see the notes. Voicemails will appear here, and I'll also get my voicemails via email, which is great. So I can listen to those right from my email. Just hit this button and play it, and then I can delete things very easily. So love this. Again, keypad, and then people is great. So this is just another form of online communication with my team, which I love. So right, I see Caitlin's available, and I'll call her. I've been switching a little bit over to this because normally we were just using Teams, or I know, a lot of you using Slack and so on. So we still do use a ton of Teams, but this is really easy too. So I can see when someone's online and just hop on a call right here. And then settings are very straightforward. Sounds and devices to hook it up with my headset here. Call preferences, I can change my ringtone, set my hours, and so on. Now this is cool. I also don't ever really touch these availability settings, because the way that I have Aircall set up is that I prefer, if I don't answer right here, that it bumps over to my personal cell phone number, and it also rings my Aircall number on my phone. It's a little, once you get it set up, you like really understand it, but it's kind of like you're everywhere all the time. So the cool thing is, remember, I have a number that's separate from my cell phone number, but I can still receive Aircall phone calls on my iPhone. Right? So, woo, crazy. And this is just, it came kind of full circle for me when we implemented this internally, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just getting my calls everywhere. And the great thing about this is, remember, your employees are coming on board and they're more than likely putting their contacts just directly into their iPhone. And of course, maybe they're not doing it even in the CRM. This will totally avoid that. If calls are coming in to a specialized number, right, that's assigned to me from my company, but I'm still able to pick it up from my cell phone, I don't risk leaving the company with my cell phone number and taking all those people with me by default, because they know where to reach me personally when I leave the company. Bad, right? So we've all been trying to get away from that, and I feel like that's something that like all my customers are very familiar with my cell phone number before we instituted Aircall here during the, before the pandemic. So, so they've got my cell phone number, which is fine, but if I leave, that's not a great thing. So this avoids that completely. That's a really nice value add to having this kind of system, and your salespeople can pick it up on their iPhone still. I can also have this number just through the configuration of the phone number in Aircall. I can also just have it punt right over to my cell phone number. Say, same thing. But it's fantastic. So let's now get into clicking on one of those contacts in Sugar, and we'll see how this integration goes. So I've got Sarah. I'm just going to click on Sarah's number, and that's what happens. It just pre-fills right here and pops up on my taskbar as well. So we'll give Sarah a call. And there we go. So there's a Caller Insights tab. And this is where the integration, the link happens with Sugar. Sarah's phone number, thanks Sarah, is in our Sugar, as you can see here on my Sugar screen. So that is the point of link. That is the unique identifier between two systems, is the phone number, okay? So right from here, it's connected to Sarah. I see her account, email address, title, whatever we want to see here, we can make happen. Awesome. Also, if I have other systems here, one of the 100 that are integrated with Aircall, which is amazing, I'll also see those other stats here too, those integration stats. So if I run customer support in Zendesk, let's say, if I pop this up, not only will I see her information from Sugar, but I'll also see all of her Zendesk tickets, right? Because it's all linked on that phone number. Now we're starting to create a unified personality and record for Sarah, and that's what we expect. When I call into Nordstrom, they know who I am. Now, every other customer or every other company I call, I'm like, you don't know me? You have my cell phone number. You should be able to know me. And this is why it's technology like this that enables that single view of the customer. Okay, so let's take some notes.
About that, Sonia,
yeah.
is all of those call metrics are in the Sugar system too. So you have one desktop as a manager managing your sales team, how many calls per day are happening and all that kind of stuff. And that's even integrated into, and I'm sorry, I have to go here, but you mentioned some other customer service company. You can be doing all that customer service activities inside of Sugar with the Sugar Serve application. And all you need is two apps. All you need is Aircall and Sugar to run your entire business. I love it.
That's right here, and it just seems like one. It's got the full customer picture right in front of you.
And that's amazing because you want to keep your sales reps in the CRM, right? You want to keep them there. That's how you boost productivity. That's the power of this.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, wow, she's interested in so many things. Okay, so I'm taking notes on my call. Now, this is where, as Clint mentioned, the no-touch CRM. As salespeople, we're so phenomenal, right? But we're also have a lot of energy and we're all over the place. And sometimes we don't go back into our CRM to put the notes there, and that's very bad. This, we just want to make it easy for people to do their job and retain that information, like Clint said, so the whole company can see what's going on and we can have that single view. This is such a low barrier of effort that no one has an excuse not to do this, right? It's amazing. I don't have to do anything in Sugar, right? I'm just pressing done. Hey, let's add a tag. So these are, fun tags that merge with Sugar. Let's just do a test one. That one, great. So I could be saying this is a hot opportunity, or any number of tags that will further let me do just dumbed down, easy, efficient work. All right, So, and I can also just transfer this over to someone and introduce them. I can assign it to a different user as well. And this is, you know, another great part is just transferring. And I can do something like a talk first. So when I transfer over to Allie, I'm going to say, hey, Allie, this is Sarah on the line. She's a little frustrated. So here's the deal. Okay, I got a couple things here and this is what we're working on. And so, you know, you're up to speed, Allie. Okay. Okay, transfer. And how many of you, right, have been on a call and this just happened to me the other day where I got transferred. I think it was with Blue Cross or something. And I got transferred and they're like, hi, what's your name? I'm like, oh.
Yeah. All the time.
You just did this. You have to do this again. So yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. All right, so this was a great call with Sarah. We added my notes. I'm going to hang up. Thank you very much, Sarah. Also, Aircall takes some of these stats to know that their service is good. You know, Teams does this and everything too. So yeah, it was really good. Okay, wonderful. So, you know, that's it. I'm moving along my day. You know, by the way, before we go look at those notes, I just want to also say this is like an SDR's dream to be able to just click and dial and go, go, go. Aircall also has something called a power dialer. And I could literally load a subset of these numbers of, let's say, my opportunity follow-ups for the day or my scheduled phone calls. I have 200 of them to get through, but I know only like 10 people are going to answer, maybe. So I just hit that power dialer and it just runs and keeps dialing. And until someone picks up, it won't connect me.
So I didn't know about that. That is really cool.
So that's part of what Aircall offers, yes.
That is really cool.
Right. So it's just that manual, and actually we timed it too. We did our own little ROI kind of thing, where we timed literally how long does it take you, rep, to take your hands off the keyboard, dial the number, hit the send button, bring up the contact, and it was something like, you know, 15 seconds. And when you multiply that times 100 calls a day, it was just, the ROI was just sitting there in front of us. It is a no-brainer.
The power dialer is great, right? It allows you to go one right after the next. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep. Just right here. And I mean, that's an automated thing. You could be your own power dialer. That's how I see it. If I can click and call everyone from one list view, that's a win for me. All the way.
It's amazing how simplified this technology is. I mean, the idea of a power dialer has been around for 20, 30 years, but you had to be the biggest companies in the world to afford a power dialer solution. And now, you know, companies with, you know, 5, 10 employees just getting started have all this right at their fingertips. Man, that is a business accelerator. I love that.
It is. I mean, you can be like a company fresh out of Shark Tank and look like you're IBM with the tech stack, right? Like, and it's truly amazing, Clint. Like, Clint, I remember maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we used a power dialer. It was standalone. Like it wasn't even connected to the phone system and it wasn't connected to the CRM. It was just, that was the only thing that company did. So yeah, these are really getting consolidated. So, you know, other things too, I can go in here and actually edit my note and then it will resync up to SugarCRM. So let's go into it now. We'll see Sarah's record. And I see here, there's an outbound call. I can press my preview record here and do a quick refresh, but I'll see that whole call and the timing, who made the call, the direction of the call, inbound or outbound, and the call notes and the tags all synced in here without any human intervention. Bam. There we go. Great. And I got my tags right there, and I'll give my notes a second to sync. But that's, I mean, that is basically it. And to set up this integration, and it's incredibly, incredibly simple. There's just like a module that we upload and everything is stock, goes right into the calls module. So like Clint said, it's incredibly easy. Just you're using stock sugar and now we've got all this call data in here. We're capturing everything.
And we're just introducing right now a new capability called Sugar Predict, which is that predictive analytics solution that I just talked about in terms of being able to immediately guide your sales reps and your lead qualification reps as to the likelihood of this person becoming a customer. And we just consume right in that tag data. So that tag data that's coming just with a quick click of the button at the end of the phone call goes right into the Sugar system, goes right into the predictive analytics machine. You know, I'm talking about a bunch of platform stuff happening in the background, and then it just surfaces right up to you as, you know, this is a good lead. You should be following up on this lead. You should stay connected with this person.
Wow, so we could take the tags that are filtering in from an Aircall call and then even make, like, let's say we could even make then a power dialer call list based on Sugar Predict data.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And
That's
Sonia,
incredible.
I was playing with it earlier today because it's available in our demo now, and you can sort a list view based on how likely things are to close. So we could put in most likely and then run the power dialer. Awesome. Really
Very
great
cool.
ways to frame your day.
I mean, it tells you what to prioritize. There's nothing worse than being ghosted, right? So this is just, I mean, really quick, this is it. I mean, this is my Aircall portal where I go in, it's my dashboard. I can, you know, this is my admin view, but we've got a small team on it right now. So we're looking here at day, week, month metrics. How many calls, when are you connecting? What's a good time to connect? How long is the person on the call? And of course I can filter by person or time or anything. And then a live activity feed as well. Shows me live who's on the phone right now. Look, the three of us are punting to our cell phones as well. And Caitlin is doing a phenomenal job on the phone. I can even go in here, drop in and ghost. So I could do a little whisper and coach people, which is great because we have a few new employees. So yeah, we can go in and then I see some voicemails here I can play, get a little more info on it. So this is the live dashboard. It's phenomenal.
This is one of my favorite features. You know, I love the ability to look at recordings, right? We have that too. And so it's great to be able to do some coaching and transcription, as you mentioned, Clint, and being able to coach retrospectively. But there's nothing like that live, really hearing them in action, being able to whisper, you know, some advice or just some quick wins. And that can really alter the difference between a one call close or closing on that phone call versus having to have multiple touch points afterwards.
Exactly. And the last thing I wanted to highlight on here, because it's just such an easy interface, but we've got the integrations area, which again, there are over 100 of them. So many more. And then we've got, you know, our Sugar one all configured and hooked up right here. So Allie, that's what I wanted to show. I mean, one more thing interesting, Allie. Thank you. I mean, it's just so easy. And then this is wonderful too. Like this is Allie's phone number. And I can actually.
There's more moment.
There's more. So wait music. There's more. There's even, you know, unfortunately, Allie can't take your call right now. And this is Joanna that's saying it, right? So we have like a little bit of a robot that's giving the welcome message and a voicemail, or you can upload your own. So this is how easy it is to set someone up an Aircall. And yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Sonia. So at this point in the webinar, we were going to open the floor up for questions. We have, if you look on your GoToWebinar side panel, you should be able to see the questions box, and you can enter your questions into there, and I will ask them to today's panelists. And luckily, we had a couple roll in during the demo, so let's start with that. So the first one I have for Jana and Sonia is, how much does this cost? I assume they mean Aircall and the integration.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. Gianna, do you want to go over? I mean, it's $30 a user a month. So there you go for Aircall. So yes, for Aircall, $30 a user a month. And then you can either port over their existing phone numbers that you already have, or you can assign them new phone numbers at $6 per phone number. Or you can set people up on an extension tree, which doesn't require another purchase of a phone number. So that's great. It's just like a traditional, right? You know, dial 123. And this is a real IVR system. So that kind of workflow capability that I showed on the last screen there, that's how you would configure, okay, someone calls in, they hit the main number, They press 1 for sales, and then it routes it to Allie and Hunter and Kevin, right? So you're doing all of this on your screen. There's no need to call a programmer anymore or have someone in your back server room trying to configure it, code-wise.
Sonia,
and then
I love how much you know this. This is great. You can answer all of our questions. That demo is fantastic as well.
Just self-implemented it.
Oh,
Self-implemented it.
I love it.
Thank you.
Wow.
It was not hard. And then we've got a special deal for our existing Sugar customers on the integration. So it's not going to be the stock pricing. I think is for the integrations around $1,500 for the year for everyone to link those two things together, like I showed you. But again, we'll have special deals for our Sugar customers at BrainSell.
That's awesome. And I think you answered our second question, which is how hard is it to implement Aircall? And Sonia did it, so.
That easy. And actually, it was funny because yesterday I had a call with Sarah at Aircall set up for her to her team to help me kind of configure it. And we had the ice storm and my internet was down. I was like, you know what? I got it. And I just hopped on 30 minutes. I set up a new employee. I sent her one question and it's done and he's set up. I mean, it couldn't be any easier.
Yeah, that is a real departure from the old days.
No more rotary phones.
No more copper system. And actually, Ellie, you weren't at BrainSell when we moved offices physically. It was a giant deal with the phone system. Mm-hmm. We had to get the phone system. I mean, Verizon was on call. It was extremely nerve-wracking because we really depended on the phone then. And it was a huge multi-day process to move over our hardware and our phone numbers and make sure that it was solid. Yeah, it was a huge deal.
Wow, that's great. Just wiped away into the background.
Dinosaur. I mean, I'm even thinking about when I moved myself personally, how easy it has become to switch your internet service. Oh, in the old days, you always had to have somebody come out and get your cable going, and so. Gosh.
Well, and also, Allie, I want to mention that this is just something that I'm taking for granted now with all these like freemium plans. But I looked back with our business owner on how much we were spending on the Verizon system that we had, the copper system with minutes. I mean, it was tens of thousands of dollars a year just on the minutes. Really, I mean, no matter or the lines. I mean, however you splice it, you still have those usage costs from the phone system if you've got that on-prem phone. So, or even IP charges, whatever. So the $30 per user per month for Aircall is all inclusive of your minutes. There's no other. So the ROI on this, I mean, it just pull your bills from Verizon for your minutes, what you pay the hardware people, what you pay for a support plan, and your $30 a user a month is like nothing.
Wow, that's awesome. So I do have a question. I think this is that's about what happens if the internet goes down, probably appropriate for what we were just talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, luckily you've got it punting over to your cell phone. So, okay, so here's the deal. I just told you, I sound like Joe Biden. Here's the deal, folks. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. So even though you might not be able to use it from your desktop but I mean, we've all lost internet. We hotspot it to our desktop. Sure, okay. But also, if you still have phone service on your cell phone, remember, that's supporting your Aircall app and that phone number, right? So you're still going to be getting calls to your cell phone backup, right? So it doesn't matter. As long as you've got power on your cell phone and you're in range of a tower, then the Aircall won't be disrupted.
Wait, so you're saying that I still have to take sales calls if the power goes out?
Correct. You still have to work.
All the time. Like, there's basically we can work anywhere for real now.
Yeah. And when at least with our hardware at BrainSell HQ, I know when the internet goes down, we lose our phones too. Yeah. So or when the power goes down, I should say, we lose our phones.
Yeah, and right. I mean, that happens. It's real life, and as Sonia mentioned, if you've got the hotspot, that's going to help you. In the event that you do missed calls, when you get connection back, you will see what you missed as well.
Okay, good, awesome. And Sonia, you answered another question we had, which is there a mobile version for on the go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Android and iPhone ready. And actually, I didn't, in setting up Hunter, our new employee, I almost sent him a link to him, like, oh, it's all on one. So you can download all on one page. You download the on-prem app for that actual dialer that you saw, and you can download the iOS or the Android version for your phone. Really easy. Yeah.
Cool. And then what does enabling the integration between Aircall and CRM look like? I mean, we saw the integration page. Is it just as simple as searching for the integration you'd like?
Yeah, well, yes and no. So on Aircall, we're just rolling this one out. They have a very basic sugar one that's in there. So the one that we are releasing, it's in beta, but we're ready to go, and we'll be putting that on Sugar Outfitters and, of course, Sugar Exchange and Aircall's Exchange as well. So we'll be like the premium sugar integration.
Nice. I love that. Okay, well, that is the end of our questions. I want to thank you guys so much. This has been such a fascinating conversation. So thanks, Gianna and Clint and Sonia, for joining us. And thank you to all of our attendees. We will be sending out a recording of this event. Likely it will be in your inboxes tomorrow morning. And we'll follow up with you individually this week to make sure that all questions have been answered. So thank you so much, and have a successful 2021. Bye.
Thanks, Allie. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Allie. Thank you, everyone. Bye, Clint. Bye, Sonia.
Bye.
Thank you.